Welcome viewers. Today we are going to study how we can identify research gaps and develop our objectives. This is one of the core and integral parts of the research process. The reason is if you don't know or you don't have anything new that we are bringing on board, that we are adding to the body of literature in our field, then research doesn't matter. Because if others have done it, why are we doing same? That is where research gaps and developing objectives come in. Basically, the purpose of the research is to solve a problem, is to address an issue, is to confront people's concern, societal concern. That is why we engage in a research, but nothing else. So today's topic is about identifying research gaps and developing objectives. I assume that you know how to select a topic, but for the purpose of those who have not watched my previous video, let me briefly highlight it. You select a suitable topic to address issues based on our experience and frequently on the assessment of literature. Because without looking at the literature, how do you know that these issues that I feel they are concerned to society have been addressed or not? So it is the best approach. Read multiples of papers in your area to know that okay, this research, this topic has been done, this issue has been addressed. How were they addressed? Which methodology? How was it done? What were the objectives? What were the variables incorporated? Then based on that, they become the knowledge gap. So that is how we come up with research topics. Now, after reading the papers, you have come up with a topic. Now, they'll ask you, lecturers or the supervisor will ask you, what exactly do you want to do? Now, that basically talks about research gap. Okay, in your evaluation, you come to understand that a topic like effect of government spending on economic growth has been done maybe in the United States, in Nigeria, in South Africa, but not in Ghana. Or this same topic has been done in Ghana, but how was the approach like? How did the author tackle it? Which areas of government spending did the author address? If all these things, if you have problems with all these things, then they become your knowledge gap. First, most of these papers were done outside Ghana. That becomes the first knowledge gap. Two, the approach they used, the methodology or the data analysis or the research design that they adopted, there are issues with it. Or not that there are issues with it, but you think that adopting a different approach will produce a robust finding. That one too becomes another research gap. Now, another one can be the theory adopted. It could be that the theory that those papers adopted are debatable, but there are issues with them. We can punch holes into them. We can critique them. So in this case, you can also adopt a new theory to explain economic growth, the connection between government expenditure, government spending, and economic growth. So these three things that I've just highlighted becomes the knowledge gap. That is basically what we mean by the knowledge gap. One, we can look at the jurisdiction, the area that the research was carried out. Maybe it's not in your country, or it's not in your area, it's not in your territory. That is one. Two, the methodology they were adopted, the research approved, the research design, you have issues with it. So that one too becomes a knowledge gap. Three, we can also look at the theories. Are the theories outdated? Are they modern ones? Do academics have issues? Have they criticized it? Have they come out with new models? Now you do a comparative analysis. If the papers that you are evaluating have adopted theories that in your understanding there are issues with it, then you can also decide to use or apply other theories. So in this case, the theoretical underpinnings become a knowledge gap. That's it. And I hope at this level you have understood how you can identify knowledge gap. One thing is you need a critical lens to look at it. You need to take your time, assess the findings of most of the papers in the field in what you want to study. You evaluate them. At times, what I do is that I use an Excel. I create a chart. Maybe someday I'll come up with something like that. Then I compare their findings. I compare the methodologies. I group them in charts in Excel. So by the time I finish, I complete the other. Oh, very fine. This one was done. This one was okay. This research did it from this perspective. Okay, this researcher did it from this angle. All right, these were the results. Okay, these are the variables that were incorporated in the research. Then you can easily determine what you actually or how to identify at the research gap. That's it. Now, let's proceed to developing the objectives. The objectives are very important. They are crucial. The reason is that is the core or the fundamental reasons we are conducting the research. So understand that from the background to the chapter 5 or the result, whatever information that you put together, whatever data that you assemble, you accumulate, must address these objectives. So starting from the introduction, everything that you write must all be linked with these objectives. That is why they are crucial. If you do anything outside objectives, then it's better you never started the whole journey. All right, now let's go on. In this topic, you can see we have the first variable, that is government spending. The second one is economic growth. We are going to look at how government spending affects economic growth. Is there a linear relationship? Is it upwards or downwards, or there was a neutral or zero relationship with it? As time goes on, I will teach all these things in a graphical and in a mathematical way for better comprehension. All right, so this is what you have, and you want to develop objectives, and you can't just say that effect of government spending on economic growth is an objective. No, this is the title. So we develop the objective from the title or the project topic. Now this is the approach. This is how researchers, this is how we do it. We know that the dependent variable here is the economic growth. That's the dependent variable. And the independent variable here is the government spending. In economics, the major indicator is GDP. So in the models that we will be creating in the chapter 3, GDP will represent economic growth. and that will be the dependent variable. As time goes on in the chapter 3, I'll explain all this, how I develop all these models. I'll explain them. Now, let's look at the independent variable, or you can call it exponential variable, regressors, or I think there's another way that just escaped me. But anyway, let's move ahead. Government spending is the independent variable. They are the ones predicting the outcome of or the effect on the economic growth. So basically, that is what we are going to we are talking about now. Within government spending, government spend on three major areas in economy. But for the purpose of our discussion, we are only looking at two of them. Government spend on capital expenditure. That is one. Again, government spend on consumption expenditure. So you can see that we are breaking down the government expenditure, government spending or government expenditure into minor clusters, as you can see. So now you have government expenditure, we have government government consumption expenditure. So government spend on these areas. Within the capital expenditure, government may decide to spend money on road construction or on health. So as you can see, our discussion is getting interesting and we are all understanding it, and I'm sure you do. Then under consumption expenditure, government may spend on labor force or human capital generation. So you can see you are broken down the independent variable from government, that is government spending, to capital expenditure and government consumption expenditure. And now we have arrived at road construction or health expenditure, and we are now at labor force and human capital. These are the variables that you'll be working on in our data analysis. So take note. So now, what is our objectives? Our objectives are going to be the link between this and that, and the connection between this and that. So now it's going to be the effect of government capital expenditure on economic growth. That is objective 1. And the effect of government consumption expenditure on economic growth. So that in the data analysis, we represent capital expenditure with these variables and consumption expenditure with these variables. This is simple, and I hope all of you have clearly understood. If there are any question, you can ask in the comment section, or you can also reach me on my contact. Then we can take it from there. I can assist you with any question that you have in mind. I want you to subscribe to my channel, because those on YouTube may subscribe to my channel, and those on Facebook may share and comment with their questions. Share so that your fellow students, your fellow aspiring researchers can also benefit from these videos. Anytime I come out with new videos, you will quickly be notified and come watch the video, learn it well, and benefit. Thank you all. Bye bye.